First play of the game, we're going blind pig.
We're gonna go blind pig.
Blind pig, yeah.
So I'm also a big fan of the blind pig action.
The only reason we're running this action now is because we wanted to say blind pig and look cool.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Blind Pig podcast. Psyched to be back talking more Super League basketball action, particularly the trophy stage. But tonight I am not flying solo. I am joined by my PIC, the one, the only, Louie Hills, aka Prophesy Scout, aka SLB show co-host. Louie, how you doing, brother?
Yeah, I'm good, man. It's good to be here. I love what you do, so yeah, man.
The feeling is mutual. I was thinking this the other day, right? If the Sunday night breakdown is the OG pod, then you guys are like Unk. You're the proper Unk.
We are
pod.
Unk. We're the Unks, bro. Like, I mean, Grant's been doing it. He told me that he's been doing it for longer than what the Sunday night breakdown guys have been doing.
No way.
So, you know,
Okay,
in
so we have
terms
a
of
battle for
Unk
OG.
status, in terms of OG status, you know, we've got a fight. We've got a fight there. So,
Oh, honestly,
you know.
I think all of the guys, you, Grant, Mitch, Matt, I think you're all doing some amazing stuff over on the SLB show. One of the things that really surprised me, because I used to listen to you guys, and then obviously you switched to video. I couldn't believe Grant looked how he looked. Out of everyone, he surprised me the most. Do you know what I mean?
Big Scottish guy, man. Big Scottish guy. Like, that's his thing, man. Like,
Grant, don't
yeah.
get me wrong. When you listen to it, man, you're a good-looking chap. You just surprised me with how you looked.
I mean, that always happens, you know, when you go to like, whenever someone like puts their video up on YouTube or whatever, you're always surprised by how they look. So,
100%, 100%. And for you, obviously, you've been involved in lots of different aspects of basketball. Like we say, co-host of the SLB show. You also do amazing stuff on Twitter with like player breakdowns. I'm just really interested, man. For you, like, how did you get into the basketball scene? And I suppose how did you get involved in both the show and so much in kind of like the analytics and player breakdown stuff?
yeah, so I mean, I started, like I started with basketball in like NBA 2K10, I think. My mum got me that. I loved it with Kobe on the cover. Played that a lot. Growing up, I played a lot of basketball, maybe not to like a high standard, but like played a lot of basketball. And then like I was always really into like thinking basketball and stuff like that. Like but
100%, yeah.
but I was really into, I don't know why I got into it, but like I was always into like football kind of like alternative topics like TIFO, like thinking behind the game kind of in stats and that lot, and it kind of like really appealed to me. So I just kind of like developed that. In terms of like my SLB interest, it was like around 2022, I think. I found like a YouTube stream, started watching that, like because the level of plays is like I think it's very good, in terms of like obviously it's not the NBA, but it's an entertaining product, and having a love for basketball and having it be in a time zone that's, usable for us, so like I'm watching that. I'm interacting with the SLB Discord, or like what it was below the rim back then, interact with that lot, and like Grant and Pabs and that lot on Discord. Like I started doing like player breakdowns on the Discord. So whenever someone would come up with a signing, I'd go into their analytics and advanced stats, and I'd kind of like break that down. Kind of like think, how they translate to this league in terms of like stats or whatever compared to like other pro leagues and college level, etc. And I start like someone said to me like post down on X, you might get an audience, right? And then yeah, it kind of
Right.
snowballed from there. Like I was just doing it for passion. I always was very passionate about British basketball. Like I did a couple like massive like medium articles in terms of what they should do for the sport, really, which caught me a little bit of British basketball like following or whatever. But that plus all the advanced stat stuff that got me like an audience, I suppose. And that's just really taught me so much about, what goes behind like recruitment, scouting players, and that's what I've kind of brought to the scouting this season. Beforehand I was really advanced stats based. Now I'm looking like how do players playing handoffs, etc. How do they play? Because a lot of recruitment is that it's about the minutiae of how a player plays, etc. How they fit into a system. So you know, that sort of thing. And yeah, like obviously that's where I am right now. So
It's
that's very
perfect, man.
long-winded, but
No,
yeah,
not at all. I think that's
there
perfect.
we
And
go.
do you know what? I love what you said there as well, though. It's about like the levels. I think there are definitely British fans out there who just love watching the games. They love watching the clips. And there's like
Yeah,
another level of fans, isn't there, that enjoy like following the news and following like the team signings. And then there's like the hardcore people who love the
yeah,
breakdowns, love the analytics, who are living and dying by it. And I think it's cool, like whichever camp you fall into, but it's good that you're helping make something that's kind of there for all those different types of fans. And I have to ask as well, I saw a cheeky little picture of you on IG back at uni potentially when you were throwing the old pigskin around American football. Did
yeah. I
that used
played
to be your
American
jam?
football. That used to be my jam. I played. Okay, so to preface this, I'm 5'9". Okay, I played linebacker.
Hey, it's
Okay,
perfect tight
so
end.
I was a bloody linebacker. I played this game against UWE, University of the West of
Yeah,
England.
yeah.
Very good team. They used to recruit kind of like Americans on post grad, and there was this like 140 kg like tight end or whatever. This poor guy had to like do his linebacker stuff against him. And I was like, oh yeah, bro. Like I'm not cut out for this. But I used to do a little bit of powerlifting. That's how I kind of got into the squad basically. Like, because University of Hearts is a good American football team. I did 1 year and then I got injured, so that's
Okay.
my excuse.
Hey, but anytime you can understand American football plays, I think, if you can understand that
No,
analytics,
no, it was
easy to beat all
crazy.
ball, man.
I was honestly, it was crazy. Like I used to have like our playbook on like our wrist. Like we had like because it's so complex, man.
Hmm.
Like you don't obviously I played a little bit of Madden back in the day, but like,
All I'm doing is selecting the play that John Wooden tells me to.
bro,
Like,
four quarters, throw it, chuck it long, bro.
that's it, man. That's all you need. A
But
Hail Mary and a good running
yeah,
back.
basically, no, it was so tough playing, but I've like respect to American football players, man, because it's crazy. But
Nice. I
go
love
on,
that.
go
I
on.
love that. Oh man. And obviously Super League Basketball season 2 has kind of kicked off. Really interested, what are your feelings about kind of how the season's gone so far? Are you enjoying it? How does it feel to kind of be back watching SLB again?
Yeah, it's so good to be back, man. And the first game that I watched was I think it was Cheshire Manchester. And that game, after not having basketball for so long, it was like manna from heaven, because it was so fast paced. It was just like peak British basketball, and it's so good to be back. And like the level of play, I think is just the talent level, I think is just higher than it has been previously. It's continuously evolving. So yeah, it's just great to be back, man. So
Yeah, man. I totally agree, like, in terms of the talent. Like, you look around the league and you can see teams, obviously, Manchester are taking a huge step forward from where they were last season. I personally am super high on Bristol right now and what they're doing. I think that's wicked. So lots of teams are kind of moving forward. And even the teams that you might point to and say, all right, Leicester's maybe taken a step back from where they were in May last year, or you could say, um, like a Newcastle isn't exactly where they were in terms of like the trophy finals, that kind of stuff. I think you're right. Across the league, the level of talent feels like it is growing, and it still feels really high paced and really exciting.
yeah, so my comparison is like just look at Surrey's squad last season. Look at their squad now. They just recruited Keno Lilly from NBA Summer League, highly touted like player out of Brown University. Um Isaiah Small coming out of Denmark, where they were league champions. These guys would never come into Surrey beforehand. That's kind of my comparison point. Obviously, I know like the level of leagues and stuff, and just the kind of recruitment standards going higher. So it's very evident from my perspective.
My view of the product as well as a whole, like SLB. So this is the basketball I watch, right? So I watch SLB, I watch some NBA, I'll probably watch March Madness. I'm not watching everything, but
Mhm.
I actually find SLB, to be honest, to be more enjoyable to watch than the NBA. Yeah, maybe the NBA has a little
Mhm.
bit better shot making. It's a little bit more athletic. Do you know what I mean? They're like some big time highlight plays.
Yeah,
But actually, in
obviously,
terms
yeah.
of like pace of the game and stuff, I'd take watching an SLB game over like sitting through half an hour of like the last 2 minutes of an NBA game any
Yeah.
day. I just think the pace is better. I think it's a really good product.
I mean, obviously I totally agree, man. That's why I'm so into it. But it's the thing of like, the NBA regular season is just such a slog, so many like dead games or whatever. But like you say, pace of play, kind of like there's kind of like a little bit of like that non-league factor in football, if you
Mm.
get what I'm saying. Obviously not the same level of talent, but everyone's kind of like there isn't like a LeBron James or whatever who you can just ride their coattails essentially. It's like the talent level is kind of a lot more kind of, I don't know, equated, so to speak. So, and it's very competitive. So that's my thing.
If Maceo Jack just pulled a face straight at you when you said there isn't a LeBron James in our league, like
Maceo Jack, you are LeBron, man.
if there was ever going to be a comparison for LeBron James carrying the '07 Cleveland Cavaliers, it is Maceo Jack in
Yeah.
Newcastle
Oh
right
my
now.
God. Bro, that shout out is insane. I love that. Oh seven, man.
We're talking pre.
Bro.
Oh, oh
Who said Donier Marshall? That's the question.
oh
Bro.
man. So in terms of like standout players, I must admit I've let the cat out of the bag already. We were chatting before. You were talking about Mason Jack being someone who you think has really stood out this season. I suppose what surprised you about it?
Well, previously, well, first of all, he's clearly bulked up a ton from how he was previously. He was previously more so like, in terms of how he played at Cheshire, he was more like a spot up guy, He wasn't this incredibly like, I don't know, dangerous creator on ball, so to speak, in terms of at Newcastle, because they do have that deficit of kind of on ball creation. He's been asked to carry a lot of loads on ball and he looks much more dangerous as a slasher. Some of his finishes against Sheffield were insane, to be honest.
Um,
And he just really fits into kind of Newcastle's, I don't know how they play at the moment, especially in terms of his defense. In terms of how he's bulked up, he's very switchable, so that's kind of my thing. So
Fairly agree, man. He looked
yeah.
really, really good when seeing him in person in Sheffield. You're right. You do see just how physical he is when he goes to the rim and the tough finishes.
Yeah.
Two things for me about Maceo Jack. One is just how funky that jump shot still looks. Like it looks like it shouldn't go. You know what I mean? I don't even think he gets his hand under the ball. I'm convinced it starts at the
Bro.
side and then
Okay,
wraps.
weird jump shots, Keno Lilly too.
Oh yeah,
Okay. We love
yeah.
a weird jump shot in our league and you know
Hey, if
you
it
know
works, it works.
if it works, it works. And they're both very good shooters, so
Dude, do we need to get into
shout out to them.
speculation as well about Maceo Jack? Like, I don't want to be that guy, but why did he go to Newcastle and not Cheshire? That is like a burning question in my mind.
I see, okay, last season, the one thing that I was kind of calling out for, they never replaced Maceo Jack because they had a huge deficit in their outside shooting. Because that's obviously what Maceo Jack was at Cheshire, is an incredible like spot up shooter. And they clearly haven't learned their lesson. I mean, I think it's probably more so financials, but it wasn't. They should have signed him, but
Um, the fact that he signed after, obviously Caleb Huffman decided to step away from Newcastle, or
yeah, it was
Newcastle
still
decided
available. It was still
exactly,
available.
man. He was there, ready for the taking in the off season, and they, for whatever reason, couldn't make it work. Um,
Yeah.
crazy. Okay, my surprise for the SLBC, for the SLB season so far, and I'm really interested to hear your take on this, is Joe Anderson. I am so high on Joe Anderson as an amazing surprise. He looks great on ball, great handle, great going to the rim. And do you know what? I thought as well in the game against Sheffield, he played some really great defense against Nixon. Like, I thought he was moving his
Mm.
feet, he was sliding. Joe Anderson could be like a cheeky shout for MVP. I'm not sure what the odds are in the bookies, but he's
Very low
freaking
probably.
well.
But so get your bet in right now. But my perspective is, I think in terms of how well he's played so far, and I think from when I did his scouting pre like because when I first did that X upload of like how I thought like the quote tweet of Joe Anderson, basically, I wasn't as high, but when I actually watched his game tape at Lipscomb and I updated that article on BBD, um like same as you, like his ability to kind of his dribble penetration as a small guard in terms of, dribble penetration kick, like in terms of that small guard that can kind of break like defense, like double teams in the pick and roll, because he's very shifty and has a very tight handle. In terms of like a PG archetype, that's a very valuable player. He's like his 3-point shot has been firing. Like I'm not sure how sustainable that's going to be in terms of like as at a higher volume.
Just
In
believe, brother.
terms of
That's going to be there all
gotta
season.
believe, gotta believe. I'm sorry, Joe, I'm not a believer. But I do think he's a very good player, and I think it was a very good pickup from Bristol because I assume he would have been quite cheap also. And as you say, like his rim pressure as well, you don't expect it from such a small guard, but he's very quick getting to the rim, like straight line, bang. He's really quick and kind of sneaky to the rim, kind of. Is I hope he does well. So
Joe Anderson, obviously,
yeah.
friend of the pod. So when you go 10 for 10 in the next game, you know who to at. if you,
Get on the pod. Get on
yeah,
the pod.
we'll have
Get on the pod,
you can
Joe.
ask for a personal FIFA apology from Louis. It will be,
Yeah. No, I believe, just not that he's gonna be an MVP candidate, but I do
okay.
think he's a very good player.
Okay, we'll figure out some odds there. We'll figure out what the bet's going to be for this season. Either you're going to have to do something or I'm going to have to do something. We'll definitely make that happen.
Yeah.
All right, let's turn our attention then to talk about SLB Trophy. So the SLB Trophy is way away. It doesn't kick off till November, but we thought it'd be really good to run through like a way too early breakdown of the groups and who we think are going to win the groups and potentially who the wild card is going to be. So just setting the scene, last year, obviously the SLB split into North and South groups. There were 4 in one, 5 in the other, and the top 2 teams went through to the semi-finals. This year, all 9 SLB teams have been split into 3 geographical groups. The winner of every group will advance to the semi-final, along with 1 wild card. Just before we actually talk about who's going to win the groups, let's just talk about pros and cons of the new SLB Trophy format. And Louis, I'll give the floor to you first. Open season, wherever you
Yeah.
want to go. Pro, con, what are you feeling?
Pro, like I I don't know, man. I
You all con on this. You can be all con. Like if you're all con, be all con.
like no, I appreciate the kind of the structure of it. I like in terms of like a League Cup kind of equivalent. Like I like it, in terms of and they're like the round robin kind of group, then knockout. I think it kind of works interestingly in terms of like coupled with the league, you know. I mean maybe they could have shaped it, add a little bit of spice to it, maybe, but you know, I, I'm nonplussed. I'm nonplussed.
Okay, interesting. So I totally agree. Like the part that I think is weird for me is the geographical bit. So like it makes sense
Hmm.
in terms of like reducing team travel, but geographically splitting the teams, you've ended up with group 1 with like 2 quite weak teams, I would say, in Caledonia and Newcastle, Powerhouse and
Yeah.
Sheffield. Group 3, you got the same thing with Bristol, London, and Surrey. And then group 2 is like a group of death. You've got like, the really strong teams in the Midlands that are going to be really fighting hard.
So I guess the kind of thing with that is kind of like the regional rivalry. I think that is a good idea, in terms of just creating this narrative. We talk about this in British basketball that there isn't really that much of kind of narrative, and I don't know, like you don't see the kind of rivalries that we see in football, so to speak. So in terms of generating that kind of real sort of palpable kind of narrative and feeling towards, these geographic rivalries, I think that's kind of a smart move, So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I back that 100%. Like the idea of being able to travel a little bit more to home and away games. making it a little bit kind of spicy in terms of, are we the best in this region? I think is interesting, definitely. The thing I also like for me is, so last year, if you were in a group of 5, essentially you had to win 4 games or win 3 games and then lose by pretty small margin in your other one to go through to the semi-finals. Whereas this kind of 3-group format, I do think it allows the underdog to be a little bit more successful. So like if a random team pulls off a huge upset over who was supposed to win, their group stage, then actually that all they have to do is win 1 more and they're through to the semi-final. The underdog has a lot more of a chance than what the trophy gave them last year.
So it kind of creates like a more egalitarian kind of structure that kind of it supports like this story, this underdog story that could be more interesting, potentially from a narrative sense. So
yeah, exactly, man. Everyone loves St. John's because they did so well in March Madness. No one flipping watches St. John's games like otherwise.
Yeah, I mean, think about Nedas against Leicester last season.
100%.
That's
like career-making moment from one underdog game, innit? Like,
but that's the thing. Like, we need, like it did numbers on Hoops Fix, for example. We need stuff that kind of grabs fans' attention and create this sort of thing, like aside from the on-court product. That's the thing we kind of need to be grasping at. So.
What I am frustrated about, though, is like the placement of it. So I get it. They're very attached to Birmingham. They're very attached to the finals being there in February. But I really personally dislike that the trophy finals will not be played until the SLB Cup has already started and the championship is kind of like midway through the season. It feels like we're going to build all this momentum, like the group stages and the semi-finals, and then we have to wait donkeys for Birmingham and the finals of the trophy.
Yeah, that's not great. I mean, I can't really add too much because that's not great. I mean, you want. Yeah, I mean, you're right. You're right.
It was the same last year, wasn't it, with Newcastle? If you think about it, like Newcastle were like, was it Newcastle or was it Bristol? Oh, I forget which one was starting.
Because Newcastle signed like Trey Pulliam, like in the interim between like the semis and the finals, and they couldn't play him in the finals.
That's it,
like there's that odd narrative. So
I think Newcastle were already struggling in the championship. They've been knocked out of the SLB Cup, and yet they were playing in the trophy finals, and it was like strange, bro.
Yeah, I mean it is kind of clunky. There's always been this clunkiness with the BBL, SLB, kind of like you have the cup and the trophy, and you don't really know which is which. Like, is it all like SLB Cup, SLB Trophy, and it's not like, like Carabao or FA Cup, in football. So it's a little bit confusing, a little bit perplexing. So
I know you will have read this as well. Obviously, the SLB drops their full 80-page PDF rulebook. Did you see the rule about?
I read that.
Did you see the one about if they lose the trophy or damage the trophy, they have to pay for it?
That's funny.
That's funny. It's just like £1,000 if you damage the trophy.
I'm surprised it's worth that much.
Yeah, me too.
But
I've seen the same trophy at Timpson's.
Timpson's, yeah, shout out, bro. Sponsor the pod. Timpson's.
And then into group predictions and who we think are going to be group winners. Which group do you want to start with?
Let's go sequentially. Let's go group 1.
Hey, group 1: Caledonia, Newcastle, and Sheffield. We're 2 Sheffield fans here, so this is going to be some hardcore D1 glazing.
100%. I'm not shifting, so
yeah, let's go. We're being honest right now.
All right. Regarding you being a D1 glazer,
yeah, you feel bad.
It gets worse.
It gets worse.
Yeah.
Holy shit,
guys.
Oh no, both of you? I was gonna bring merch too.
Not just us, dude.
Oh no,
the whole crew.
The whole crew? Everyone? What? Fuck you guys. Pat too?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Pat too.
Yeah.
This is the easiest group to pick by far. Sheffield are going to absolutely smash them. Like, absolutely.
See, you saying that's cursed them now. It always happens. It always happens, man. But Sheffield are going to win. But, I mean, now that we've said that.
Pre-season, this was theirs to lose. Honestly. Like,
it's still theirs to lose. It's 100% theirs to lose.
There's never going to be a better chance for them to win a bit of silverware. Unfortunately, I think. I think SLB Cup's a little bit unpredictable with one game knockout. I think
Hmm.
by the time we get to the championship, I think injuries might hit Sheffield like they normally do. London's going to look really good by the end of the season. This is the
Yeah.
one, bro.
Player final. Got that
Okay.
in the bag, but okay, so actually thinking about it, not just being a stan. Basically, I think Newcastle's defensive kind of value in terms of like their switchability, their physicality, we saw that in the Sheffield game. I think that's going to be very difficult for Caledonia to get over, considering their kind of lack of kind of guard creation. Rian Hollands hasn't really looked. He's a great scoring guard, but in terms of like his facilitation at the one spot, in terms of like Ethan Wright, I said this in my prediction, but I don't think Ethan Wright's a very good kind of like one because they've had to have him fill in there. So I think that's going to be a very big struggle for them, and I just think Sheffield's kind of. I mean, we saw it against Newcastle. They're just sheer firepower. Like I just think, yeah, I think realistically, I think it should be Sheffield. So that's my
I'd
thing.
agree. Yeah, I think the one to watch for me personally with the Caledonia Sheffield matchup, I suppose there are almost two. The first one is normally I think Caledonia's advantage, and I think their best scorer, Mufi Ragsdale, I would say that's their best scorer. I think Sheffield match up really, really well with him to be able to guard him with really
Mm,
athletic wings, to be able to stop him and be able to stay with him up close to stop the shot,
defo.
but also be able to pull back on the D. So I think Caledonia lose that, and the only other question mark is just Kevin Allen. Um,
Yeah, okay, Kevin Allen versus Brett Reed. That's going to be a massacre.
it,
I mean, he's going to kill Brett Reed. I'm not going to lie, but I think it's basically how wedded to Brett Reed Newcastle are going to be, and how willing to kind of small ball lineups they're going to be in terms of like Marco Anthony, because they look brilliant with Marco Anthony at the five. I think so.
I think Kevin Allen though is also going to be a really tricky matchup for Sheffield. I don't back William Lee to do particularly well
No,
against.
William Lee wouldn't, but it's Jalen Deloach, I think.
Okay,
But my thing is, right, okay, because I had a look at his stats and looked at him before he signed for Caledonia. Obviously, that's my thing. I'm a Keno. That's true. His turnover rate and dealing with double teams is atrocious. I'm just gonna say that. Sheffield send doubles. Like, he's just gonna turn the ball over. There are ways to kind of clog him, and if he's the one scoring out of the post, he's not going to be facilitating out the post.
mm.
He's going to be a one man show. That's not going to do well for you know, uh, get
See,
basically let Kobe score 70. We're going
I
to win.
think
We're still going to win.
I think the only way miraculously that Caledonia win their match against Sheffield. No, I don't even like to say this because I don't think it's going to happen. So I'm just completely playing devil's advocate for the sake of content here. But
Of course.
the only way it happens is if Jalen Deloach picks up fouls, which he's done a couple of times already early this season, and
True.
Mike Ocherobia has to play. And I'm so low on Mike Ocherobia as
I mean, he's a big body. He's a
he's a
big
big body.
body, but
That's it.
my thing, Caledonia shooting. If they can get hot in the game, maybe. But no, I
Okay,
don't know.
Group One. We're
I
going to
don't know.
stay as D1 Glazers. Give us Sheffield.
Yeah,
Okay,
basically.
Group Two. I think is the hardest one to pick. The hardest one to pick. I think we might have a little rock paper scissors here.
Mm.
I think Manchester might beat Cheshire. Cheshire beat Leicester, and Leicester beat Manchester. I think it could be the 1-1-1-1-1-1-1 group.
Yeah, it is kind of tough. I mean, Leicester's looked lackluster so far. I think some of the things like I kind of thought kind of have kind of evidenced itself in a bad way. But I think ultimately Manchester should definitely get out of that group in terms of talent. But I mean, Cheshire like made it a really tough battle, and Cleary had a really good scoring night that game, if I remember correctly. I think Gabe. Oh God, what's his name? Osa
Glad you tried to say
Buihen.
it.
I think. Okay, so the addition of Gabe Osa Buihen, whatever, however you say it, I don't know.
Gabe.
However, Gabe, like, I think with Gabe, in terms of that match up with Cheshire, I think that's much easier for them because they really struggled in terms of Nicholson kind of running with Cheshire, that kind of awkwardness. So I think with Gabe, that makes that matchup a lot easier. And I think Leicester's just looked, and
Yeah.
I think Raekwon battles kind of like more of like a kind of like a bandage over some of their issues elsewhere. So I don't know. Yeah. Basically, I think it's
Yeah.
one Manchester, two Cheshire, Leicester, three.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think whoever wins that Manchester Cheshire game
Yeah,
probably
that's
wins the
it.
group. Um, Interestingly about Gabe, so I thought they played obviously Manchester played their EMBL game yesterday. They won. I thought fantastic victory. Congratulations to Manchester Basketball. I actually thought Gabe, whilst being amazing defensively and showing a real desire to want to be like the leader on the court and try and score some stuff, I actually thought he took them out of their flow of their offense a little bit, and he definitely took away shots from people like Max Jones. I think it definitely threw off Matt Nicholson and where he's supposed to be on the court. Like I thought he was really good, but he had there were some bugs, some kinks. I wanted to see them work out.
I think you've read my I think you've read my breakdown, man, because that's my thing. Okay. So basically, stats wise, in the CEBL, he turned the ball over one in three possessions. I don't need to say how bad that is. That's bad. Okay. His true shooting percentage was like 44%, which is like 11 points below average. Okay. Offensively, I think he's going to do better in our league versus how he did in CBL. But again, he's a risk reward player on the offensive end. I think it's fair to say. Defensively, though, he's a very valuable player, I think,
Lots of
especially
pressure on the
against
ball.
Czech. Yeah, against Cheshire, especially, I think that's going to be very good. So,
Yeah, matched up with like
yeah.
Policelli really well, Diggins really well. And the other side note on Gabe, he's got to hit some free throws. Like that was
Oh
brutal,
my God.
brutal in the NBL game. He went 1 for 5 at
Oh,
one point down the clutch. Like
no, that's awful. That was awful, man.
let's talk Group Three then. I think this is a really nice, spicy little group. Bristol, London, Surrey. Louis kicks off. Who do you have winning this group, and why
I
is it
mean,
London?
it has to be London, did it? If they London don't win, they're just like, in terms of like wages to performance, like that's just a joke, honestly. If they don't win that, so
It's a massively uneven group. I agree. I don't even think we need to go into it. Like everyone's money should be on London.
yeah.
Spread should be pretty big. I think. I think if the spread's tight, smash. Let's talk wild cards. So this part's particularly interesting. So what they've put on their press releases, obviously about the SLB trophy, is that it will just be the best runner-up, and they've not specifically defined what that will be. I have to assume that it's not record because teams won't have played the same amount of games. They won't have played each other the same amount of times. So that doesn't feel necessarily fair. So I can only assume it's on point difference between the group games. Is that how you see that?
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
So then the wild card becomes who do we think is going to win by the most and lose by the least? Um, and I have a
That's
real
gonna be
head
a
and
dogfight. That's gonna be
yeah,
a dogfight. Go on, go on.
I have a head and heart thing. Well, my head says Cheshire. No one has bigger swings and bigger misses than Cheshire does. So if I was going to bank
Yeah.
on having a team that was going to blow someone out, I'd bank on Cheshire blowing out Leicester and playing
Yeah.
Manchester tight and losing. So that's what my head
Mm.
tells me. They are probably the most likely to blow someone out and get that fourth spot. But my heart tells me that Bristol are playing Surrey, and I
Mm.
think that could be a good game for Bristol. I think they have a really decent shot at beating Surrey by a significant amount and playing London quite close. So head and heart here, it's either Cheshire or Bristol for me in that fourth spot.
I mean, that's definitely an interesting viewpoint. I'm gonna go with something that you will definitely not expect. I think it might be Newcastle. And
Oh, dude.
I know we've said they're mid. I know we've said they're mid this season, but
I don't think you mean
I,
this.
I do mean it. Okay. Okay, so defensively, this is my thing. Okay, defensively, we saw against Sheffield. That was the hard fought game. Okay, I think against Caledonia, Newcastle are going to win that, and I mean, we saw them thrash Cheshire as we talked about, like, and then I think Newcastle have the personnel to kind of clog things up and make the score really tight. So that's why I'm going with Newcastle. That's why I'm going with Newcastle. So.
Do you think that Newcastle Caledonia game start the season where it took them overtime to win? You think that was one game? Down the
Nah,
line, it'll
man.
be different.
They weren't used to the squad, so
Okay, okay.
different circumstances, you know.
There we go. Newcastle is going to be the fourth pick if you're Louis, and I'm going to go for Cheshire. I'm going to lock in on that. I think got to listen to my head over my heart. But I want it to be Bristol so bad, so bad. Ah well. Right, guys, there we have it. A really quick run through of the SLB trophy. Some pros, some cons, who we think's coming out the groups, and also who we think our wild card fourth spot is going to be. Louis, any final thoughts, bold predictions for the season, or particularly the trophy ahead?
Ugh. Like bold thoughts. Sheffield are gonna do a lot this season, bro. I mean, that's not exactly bold, but I think Sheffield are gonna do a lot. So there we go.
So in for that, so in for that. Louis, man, you're absolutely amazing. And obviously you do some awesome stuff. For all the people, we're going to put in the show notes, obviously, all of your socials, put a link to the SLB show. But, if people want to come and check out your work and follow you, where's the best place for them to do it, bro?
X like Prophecy at Prophecy_Scout. That's my thing. So, and then obviously the SLB show YouTube. Shout out. Go after you've watched this video. Go subscribe here. Go subscribe here, and then go subscribe to the SLB show.
100%. There's room for basketball to like, comment, and subscribe on all of our socials. So definitely go and do it. Once we launch this as well, we're going to have some stuff up on IG. We're going to be doing some polls for the fans about who they think are going to win the groups. So definitely check out in the show notes. We're going to have our IG link on there. You can go and vote. Louis, you've been amazing. Massively appreciate your time, and catch you in the next one, guys. See ya.
First play of the game, we're going blind pig.
We're going to go blind pig.
Blind pig, yeah. So I'm also a big fan of the blind pig action.
The only reason we're running this action now is because he wanted to say blind pig.